Welcome to another episode of 5 Ways. On this one, we will be talking about the 5 ways that the AJ Styles and John Cena rivalry can end. And this will be focused more specifically on ways to make them both look good. But at the end of the video, I'll tell you which one that I think they should go with and which one that they may be closer to going with. So, without further ado, let's start it off. Number one way they can end this is, well, booking and ending. So the way they can do it is, I know on SmackDown that they destroy the New Day again. So the way they can go with this, the club goes for the tag championships on the New Day, while AJ Styles just focuses on becoming the top guy and taking out John Cena. The New Day one, we'll save that for another video in more depth about 5 ways they can do that. But this is more for AJ Styles and John Cena. So the next pay-per-view escapes my mind right now, I forget. However, what they can do is they can keep building this until then, with John Cena having matches and AJ Styles somehow getting involved and Cena losing. Via roll-ups, via countouts, via, and maybe you have him have a match with Zack Ryder. You boost somebody else and have him have a match with Zack Ryder, somebody who's over but's not getting a big push, and you have him actually beat John Cena. Now I'm not sure if WWE would actually capitalize on it, but it would be a good way to, have Cena and AJ Styles continue the rivalry. And I'm thinking this should be a best out of 3. And the first match, AJ Styles should win. He should win. Now, if you want to incorporate the Bullet Club as well, even though they're doing their thing with the New Day, you can. Maybe Cena can be going for an AA, and they come out. And Cena is, he's cocked and ready for him to come in the ring, ready to fight. And, they kind of point behind him like, haha, we got you, we got one over on you. And AJ Styles, bang, hits a phenomenal forearm. John Cena, 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles wins the first match. Next night, they're bragging about it. We beat the top guy, we beat John Cena. Cena says you can't do it without them. Cena is pissed off uncharacteristically. He is pissed off about it. Not that it's uncharacteristic for him to be pissed off about being screwed, but the way he's going about it is uncharacteristic. He's pissed off. He wants to fight. He wants to fight right now. He's going, it's looking a little more like ruthless aggression John Cena back when it was Dr. Thugonomics. You screw him, he wants to fight you the next day, right now. When it begins to look like it's going to break down into John Cena versus AJ Styles in the club, out comes Steph or Shane. And, well, let's go with Steph. Steph puts the kibosh on it. No, absolutely not. You will not break down into a street fight right now. Instead, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have main event, John Cena and the New Day versus the AJ Styles and the Bullet Club. Obviously, Xavier Woods would just be the manager, but he would be out there with them. This goes down as, it breaks down to a giant fight, breaks down to a street fight, in which the New Day and John Cena get wiped out. The New Day gets wiped out by the Bullet Club. Cena's, fighting AJ Styles, and the Bullet Club comes in, and, they decimate John Cena, and, the match is ultimately thrown out. No contest, disqualification, whatever you want to go with. And at the end, once again, AJ Styles and the Bullet Club are left at the end of the show. And so that's the next night on Raw. I don't see Cena really appearing on SmackDown, so if the club does appear on SmackDown, they'll probably antagonize the New Day, talk a little more crap about how they put John Cena down. And for the next few weeks, this is what goes down. Cena wants to fight them right here and now. Something happens, he gets the kibosh on it, and, he gets another match. Well, we're not going to give you AJ Styles, but we're going to give you this match. And, I'm not saying he should lose every match he has up until then, but I believe in each match, something should happen. I believe in each match, maybe a ref gets knocked out, AJ Styles and the club come out, bang, decimate John Cena. And, being John Cena, this isn't Super John, because I believe he's also done this during Dr. Thugonomics era, during Ruthless Aggression, but people do call it Super Cena, so I guess I'll use that term for now. Super Cena, bang, kicks out, and, beats whoever he happens to be fighting that week, bang, beats them. Let's say, I don't know, he goes with Mark Henry, and, or I think Mark Henry might have actually quietly retired, so I don't know, social outcasts are jobbers now. Pick one of them and, bang, Cena's to AA, wins. Gets on the mic, tell AJ Styles and the club that they do not know who they are effing with, that the person they see is not always the person he is, or the person that he was, referring again back to the Ruthless Aggression. And I'm saying a lot of Ruthless Aggression because of the way that W seems to be going. Either PG-13 or back to TV-14. It seems like they're going to go to an edgier audience, which probably opens the door for Cena to turn heel soon because he has expressed his interest in doing so. But so that, this one isn't that long, we'll get to, pay-per-view number 2. Pay-per-view number 2, Cena and AJ Styles once again lock up, and, again, the club comes out and distracts John Cena, but this time when AJ goes for the phenomenal forearm, Cena catches him, AA, 1, 2, 3, AJ Styles loses. However, after the match, John Cena is jumped by the Bullet Club. This way, even though Cena wins, you still make the club look strong. You still make the club look like they are still the top guys, that they are still gunning for Cena, they're still very much a threat. And out come the New Day, and either the New Day comes and saves Cena, and the Bullet Club, they leave. This wouldn't affect, at least to me, this wouldn't affect them being strong. They have cheated Cena, and they've beat Cena before. They beat Cena after the match, during the match, at on Raw and pay-per-view, and now even after a loss, they've left Cena lying in the middle of the ring. So the New Day can come out and the Bullet Club can just leave proud of what they've done. They'll take it up with the New Day another day. Obviously, this forms a little alliance between Cena and New Day. Now, leading up to this, for the next few weeks, we have New Day and Bullet Club and Cena and AJ Styles, which a lot of times crosses over, where, the club ambushes New Day and, Cena comes out and helps, or comes out and also gets beat up, because, remember, we're trying to build the club as a viable threat, that they are strong, they are here. So this is what happens for the next few weeks. In the third match they will have at the pay-per-view, like I said, this is 2 out of 3. And in this particular one, now I'm a huge fan of Cena. I've been a huge fan of Cena since he was a prototype in OVW. I do agree with some of the things, well, not agree, but I do agree with the sentiment that he does bury some talent. And but I also disagree with some talent that you guys say he buried. But the Nexus is one I do agree with, though. The Nexus, though he wasn't in charge of whether he won or lost, the way he chose to end it, the way he chose to get the win, I think was incredibly stupid. I think it was a cool spot. The DDT on the concrete, I think that was a cool spot. However, I do not think, if he wanted to incorporate that spot, I don't think he should have took it. I think he should have done it to Wade Barrett or, somebody else, because it made them look weak that no matter what they did to Cena, he wouldn't lose. So had he done it to them, it would have went better. But we'll save that for another video. But anyway, so at the last pay-per-view, Steel Cage match. New Day and Bullet Club are barred from ringside. If they come up, If the New Day shows up, Cena is disqualified. If the Bullet Club come out, AJ Styles is disqualified. Steel cage match. And it is an all-out fight. Throwing each other into the cage, slingshotting each other into the cage, just beating the crap out of each other. And this match you can end one of two ways, because I don't think either one will be bad, because it's steel cage is no disqualification. The Bullet Club's music hits. Cena's distracted. Catches a phenomenal forearm, doesn't fall, kind of bounces off the ropes, and then gets the Styles Clash. And AJ Styles escapes, giving him the win. And then the Bullet Club come out. They do not come out to their music when it hits originally. They come out after AJ Styles' feet have touched the floor. He has won, and then they come out. And you can choose to end the rivalry just like that, which, I think that would be good. Or if you wish to continue it, you can have them attack him, but I don't see that being a viable thing. I see it as his best in a 2 out of 3 situation, and that is how the first one should go. Cena should lose, lose 2-1. He should lose the first and last matches. He should win the middle one. That's how that should go. So, for number 2, because like I said, I'll get to the New Day at a different point. The New Day in the club. I'll get to that at maybe another video on 5 ways, or maybe just a short little video. But these 5 ways I'll try to keep relatively short, but I went a little longer with the first one than I would have liked. But anyway, so for the second way that they can choose to do it, again, a 2 out of 3, or they can do a 3 out of 5 if they want. But I think a 2 out of 3 is the best way to do this rivalry. 2 out of 3. And, they've attacked Cena. Cena comes out. He's pissed off. He wants to fight. He wants to fight right now. Again, Steph puts the kibosh on it instead. Instead, gives Cena a match and gives, the club the New Day. The club gets the New Day while Cena has, an off match with somebody else. And I think, again, the ref gets knocked out. And the club comes out and, takes Cena out. And whoever he's going against, we can even have Zack Ryder again. Zack Ryder, bang. Pins John Cena 1, 2, 3. Ref never knows what happens. Zack Ryder gets the win. And, the club is like, got you again. And this continues. The next week, it doesn't always work. The next week they try it again. And this time Cena, kind of ignores them because they're not getting in the ring. So he kind of ignores them, delivers an AA to whoever he's facing. Bang, let's say Bo Dallas or somebody. Bang, 1, 2, 3, and looks directly at them and tells them to get in the ring. The club is like, ha, you're funny. No, we're not. We're not stupid. We're not getting in there right now. And, and then the last Raw before the pay-per-view, this goes down again where Cena has a match and, the club shows up and they kind of surround the ring. Obviously, except the one exit, because there's only 3 of them. So aside from the one exit, and so Cena's he's looking at them. Whoever he's facing is down. He's looking at them, and he's egging them on, get in the ring, come on. And he gets rolled up, 1, 2, 3. Whoever he's facing, they flee. They get out the ring. Cena's pissed off. He's ready to fight. And this time, the club gets in the ring on each side. As Cena's, attempting to fight. He hits Luke Gallows. He hits Carl Anderson. Hits AJ Styles. He's waiting for him to get back in the ring. AJ Styles and, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson dive in. Cena, doom, stomping them, trying to, get the upper hand. Here comes AJ Styles from behind. Now he's getting jumped. Stomp. In this one, you can clearly tell I'm not incorporating the New Day into this story at all. The New Day will be having their own, quiet rivalry with, the club at this point. So while their rivalry is still a big thing, the main rivalry is the Bullet Club versus John Cena, and the New Day kind of just happens to be in the way. But at this point, Cena and New Day have not formed an alliance. They are acting as independent rivalries, independent whatevers. Because Cena's beef is with AJ Styles, and while their beef is with the club. So they see that as mutually exclusive, even though they're not, they want to keep them as their own rivalry, not suck, anybody into, the rivalry. So this leads to pay-per-view where John Cena is beat. And, very few of these I will say, will be clean wins due to the fact that AJ Styles is a heel, so there has to be some shenanigans. But during the first match, Cena, gets AJ Styles up for the AA. Rather than drop him when he sees the club, bang, he hits it. And then, he eggs on the club to get in the ring. Eggs them on. Again, they point. John Cena ducks under, he ducks under AJ Styles, who then happens to accidentally clip the referee. Refs are made out of glass, so bang, ref falls, rolls out of the ring, unconscious, and here comes the club, who then proceed to, try to, destroy John Cena. It is at this point the New Day come in, and the New Day help Cena, and they actually, beat back Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Cena hits an AA again, just as the ref comes to, and 1, 2, 3. John Cena wins the first one in this way. Again, I don't want to go too long, so, we'll say more shenanigans go down. Leading up to the second one, Cena and the New Day have formed kind of an alliance a little bit. They've been putting some, 6-man tags, where it's them versus the club, in which they went over in one, while the club went over the other one, and then the last one they were going to have turned out into a street fight before the match even started. No contest, bodies are everywhere, announce tables are broken, bodies are everywhere, and the two people left standing in the ring are John Cena and AJ Styles, and that's the end of Raw. They're just staring at each other. And then pay-per-view, bang, here we go. John Cena takes on AJ Styles once again, and again, a little shenanigans are had where, AJ Styles, maybe at a point in the match, he won't get in the ring. He won't get in. He's like, no, I'll just take the count out, whatever. The club comes out, and while the ref is distracted trying to get the club to go back to the locker room, AJ Styles, bang, hits John Cena over the head with a chair. Well, I know there's no headshots anymore. That would be a cool spot if they were to bring it back for that one time. I know that, they, concussions and that's a whole nother story. But I think for this one spot, it would be cool if they did it. But if they don't, he can still hit Cena, with a chair in the stomach and then across the back. Or he comes in with a sledgehammer, bang, hits him in the stomach. Cena falls over, Styles clash. 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles wins the second match. John Cena comes out the next night, and he's like, you are really starting to piss me off. You don't know who you're dealing with. And is at this point that he, takes, something out from under his shirt, and it is the padlock chain that he has, that he used to have. And he tells them that they don't want, him to revert back to how he was. I anticipate from a larger audience, from a lot of people, from the older people, that this, him simply pulling out the padlock and wrapping around his hand would get a huge pop, because even people who hate John Cena now, or maybe I've always hated John Cena, but they all agree on one thing, that they either liked or didn't actually hate him as the Doctor of Thugonomics. So I think that would get a huge cheer, maybe even a chant going. But I think that would get a huge pop if he were to do that. The club comes out and they kind of laugh it off, like, "Ha, you're funny. Like, that's not you anymore. You're this, Mr. Face that runs the place, Mr. Fruity Pebble, Mr. TV ads, Mr. That guy, Mr. Likeable." So they're like, okay. So Cena says, all right. And this segment ends with no real violence, just verbal sparring. Which ends with John Cena saying, you really don't know who I am. This leads up to that night. Bullet Club versus the New Day. AJ Styles in their corner. Xavier obviously in theirs. John Cena's music hits. But it is not the My Time Is Now music. It is So You Think You're Untouchable. Word Life. Which gets a huge pop again. John Cena comes out. He has a jersey on, shorts, Nikes on, has the padlock chain around, and he has takes it off as he's walking down the ramp, wraps around his hand. The ref is looking at him. AJ Styles is looking at him like, what the hell? And instantly, the club turns around. They go, they stand in front of Cena. The New Day, slide out of the ring. New Day's kind of, at this point, they don't know what's going on. John Cena walks down the ramp, and, Luke Gallows goes to punch him. He blocks it. Instantly punches Luke Gallows with the steel chain. Bang, bang, bang. Bullet Club win by disqualification. Is at this point, it breaks down. The New Day come out the ring. Cena and, AJ Styles are fighting. And, at some point, Cena loses it. Falls off his hand. They're fighting. Bang, bang, bang. John Cena catches a kick. He goes for the phenomenal form. John Cena happens to be in the corner and wraps it around his hand again. When AJ Styles go for it, in midair, AJ Styles is cracked with the steel chain. And that is how that is left. And then at the final pay-per-view, John Cena comes out, Word Life. Jersey, padlock chain, hat. He's coming out like this. Which I think would be absolutely fantastic. Honestly, I think that would be great. But this happens, and ultimately is the chain that brings him down. The Bullet Club come out to distract the ref yet again. Sorry, no they don't. There's a steel cage match. He brings it in. No disqualification. This time the club does come in. The club, they can't bust open the chain. Maybe Cena's beating the crap out of AJ, and they come down, and they can't open the door, so they go to climb. So Cena's looking at them, waiting for them to come in, like, yeah, come on, like, get in here, I'll kick your ass. And they jump down, and they just start laughing, and they high five, and Cena's kind of like, okay, I'll just continue beating the crap out of him, I guess, if you're not gonna come in here. He turns around, AJ Styles cracks him with the chain and climbs out, giving him the win again in a best 2 out of 3. Now, these last couple will be short because I wasn't actually planning on this video being this long. I apologize for it. So, third one, I'll just cover the pay-per-views. Third one, John Cena takes the L in the first match. John Cena wins in the first match, hits an AA, wins the match. Gets jumped afterwards. The club is still strong. Second match, AJ Styles is the victor. The Bullet Club came out, distracted John Cena. John Cena turns around, catches a Styles clash. He loses. And then the last match, again, I told you they'll all be in a steel cage. Last match, steel cage, again, barred from ringside. Everybody's barred from ringside. And this time, Cena climbs up, and he is, he's looking down, kind of like that Eddie Guerrero, Edge, Rey Mysterio moments, where they're looking down, they're like, should I just win, or should I go for the exclamation point? Uncharacteristically, John Cena, uncharacteristically, because he doesn't usually jump off of shit. So, uncharacteristically, John Cena jumps off of the steel cage, goes for a leg drop, misses severely in kayfabe, injuring his leg severely, holding it, whatever. And at this point, AJ Styles can either pick him up, hit the Styles Clash, wait for him to get up, hit the forearm, or climb out now. I think either ending would be great, because in the end, he will climb out and he will take the match. And he will win the rivalry in a best 2 out of 3, in which he won the first one and the third one. And in this way, you know, AJ Styles and the club look definitive. They look like the biggest heels in the company, or one of the biggest heels in the company. John Cena's reputation isn't hurt at all because, it's a high-profile guy, high-profile message. And it's also a little bit of him, beginning to pass the torch and maybe going into some mid-card stuff. Number four would be a John Cena clean sweep. He wins all three, handles the club with no help from the New Day in each situation. I don't think that would be good. I think that would probably increase the heat on him, which he says he doesn't care about. So, but I think that would increase the heat on him, which would continuously be annoying for people who are Cena fans. And I'd imagine at some point it would probably be annoying for him. And it would be annoying for people who don't like him if he won, because they don't like him, so they don't want him to win. And also for this, John Cena, I hate the word, but I guess that would bury AJ Styles in the club, because it makes them as big as a threat as they can be. They'll never surpass John Cena, is what that will be, is what it'll look like, and John Cena will always be there to stop them, is what that makes it look like. Now number 5 is John Cena wins the best 2 out of 3, in which Cena wins the first match, loses the second one, but wins the steel cage match with help with help from the New Day. A New Day come out and help John Cena. When the Bullet Club is coming out, the New Day comes out, takes out the club. Maybe at this point, Big E's ripped the doors off, because maybe the club did get in the cage. He's ripped the doors off. The New Day comes in, takes out the club. Maybe they threw a chair in there, and AJ's going for a chair shot, but Big E takes it away from him, and when he turns around, Cena hits the AA. 1, 2, 3, John Cena wins. And this also accomplishes the way that the club does not look weak, because it took 4 people to beat them. The club does not look weak. They look like a viable threat still. John Cena's reputation is intact. And the New Day have built themselves as the next big rivalry for the club. Now, is this as high profile as a John Cena feud? No, it is not. But aside from number 4, aside from if they get swept 3 to nothing, this boosts their popularity and their profile in the company to extreme levels, because of, whether you like it or not, a program with John Cena does usually lead to good things. Now, does it eventually lead to some bad things? For some people, yes, it does. Yes, it does. For some people, it does lead to bad things. For some people, it does lead to, more of a burial jobber position, as it did with most of the Nexus. However, for some people, it does end relatively well. When, I'm throwing it back a little bit, but when, Rey Mysterio had beef with John Cena back in Dr. Thugonomics days, Rey Mysterio's thing was boosted after the rivalry. He went on to become champion. He went on to be tag champion. He went on to be in a feud with Batista, and it was great. The rivalry didn't last long. I think it was only 1 month. I think it only led to 1 pay-per-view match, but nonetheless, it was a good rivalry that ended up boosting both of their careers. The same with Edge and Cena, because their rivalry, whether you like it or not, Edge and Cena boosted each other to exponential heights, in which at that point they were running the company. In Brock Lesnar's absence, they were the guys, and they carried the company on their back, and they did very well. And both their profiles were increased exponentially after John Cena being in the ring with a veteran and Edge being in the ring with John Cena, who at the time was very beloved, very over, and at the time, because it was TV 14 or because they hadn't officially gone PG yet, I don't remember exactly at that time if it was TV 14, but that was still part of the Ruthless Aggression era, and I think at the tail end, but was still part of it. And John Cena and Edge's rivalry was one of the best rivalries, in my opinion, in WWE history. And definitely one of the best ones John Cena's ever had. Is it the greatest? Absolutely not. It's not the best rivalry ever. There's still Rock Austin and there's still Rock Austin and Triple H Shawn Michaels and Austin Vince McMahon and Nation of Domination versus Austin. Like, come on. Brock Undertaker, both times. Brock Undertaker both times. Brock Kurt Angle. But with that all being said, it was still one of the greatest rivalries ever and one of the greatest John Cena's ever had. And whether it wasn't always that way, that if it was seen as a poison if you went in a thing with John Cena. It wasn't always seen that way. And that really started happening during the PG era, where the conception was if you were put in a program with John Cena, you were going to be buried. And for some people it did end up that way, and for some it didn't. I'll say probably maybe 60-40. I know the big one is, obviously the Nexus. People didn't like that he buried the Nexus, which I understand, because even as a huge Cena fan, I didn't like the ending that he chose. I thought that was incredibly stupid. But that being said, actually, we'll save that for another video. We'll save that for another video. We'll actually do that today, what I'm about to talk about. So there will actually be 2 videos up today. I promise this time there will be 2. I got a little busy with looking for a job, looking for another job, and making sure all my FAFSA stuff is in order for my last semester of college. So with that all being said, I thank you for joining me for this video. In the future, 5 ways will not be this long. I apologize for a little sidetracking I did, but 5 ways will not be this long in the future. And if you have any ideas for 5 ways that I can do, it does not have to be wrestling, it does not have to be sports, it can be 5 ways about anything. I will be more than happy to do so. Thank you for watching.